This is the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Levitan Martian. The Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Head there for great food, awesome drinks, and atmosphere to match. They've got something every night of the weekend. When the Sens get back from this road trip, December shuttle tickets are now on sale at GlebeCentralPub.com. Senators fall tonight 2-1, the final score against the LA Kings, unable to sweep the California road trip. It would have been only the second time in team history. I want to welcome everyone who's watching the show except for Michael Markovic and whoever that other official thinks he is, Trevor Hansen, Pilsy. Those two are very lucky we don't talk about the refs on this show because they both suck tonight at their job.
Yeah, very lucky we don't talk about the refs or name them by name to intro the show. That wouldn't be good if they were watching. But yeah, missed calls all over the place. Honestly, kind of for both sides. Just overall, it was a weird game. But unlike the last LA Kings Ottawa Senators game, this was not a snooze fest. This was an awesome game that both teams traded chances. Both goalies played well. I loved the Travis Green went with Levitan here. I thought he was awesome. Timmy looked amazing. And ultimately, it comes down to a power play goal by the LA Kings with 1 second left in that power play. And that ends up being the game winner.
And this was 0-0 going into the third period. The first time the Senators have been in a scoreless game after 40 minutes. And it took 111 total minutes for Ottawa to score a goal in the season series against LA. It came 5 minutes after LA opened the scoring on a 3-on-2 rush chance where the cross feed to Warren Foegele was too quick for Levitan to get across. Martian, when they tied that up, how sure were you that this one was at least going to overtime?
Yeah, the way these two teams go and the goals being so sparse to come by, I thought for sure that, it was going to end up being one of those overtime games. And I would have been very happy with that, Ross. Honestly, going into California, taking 5 out of 6 points would have been a nice little feat there. But unfortunately, the LA Kings, they got that late power play, gained a bit of momentum, and it just ended up going their way here again tonight. These low-scoring games, they're tough to watch. This one, like you said, Pilsy, was a little bit better, but not much, to be honest with you. There wasn't a lot going on there. A lot of neutral zone play, a lot of tight checking, and that was kind of the story of this one yet again.
Yeah, and the Kings just do such a good job of holding that line on their penalty kill. Like, Marshy, how many times were we saying in the group chat, like, this power play just cannot enter the zone, just failed entry after failed entry after failed entry. You got to give credit to the Kings penalty kill. They are pretty solid and have been lately. I know Ross, LOSP stats department's been all over that. They've been shutting down other power plays and even scoring shorthanded. So it's not like the Senators are the only ones that have been struggling there. But overall, this Ottawa Senators power play is not what it was at the start of the season.
Which is why the thumbnail says not so special teams, right? Like Ottawa, you can complain about the lack of calls. And you said all over the ice, Pills. It was all over Tim Stützle 3 times. It felt
Seriously.
like he had clear pass to the net that was either a hook, a trip, a slash, call it what you want, but he was impeded illegally from getting to a dangerous area. But where I blew my fume and I said, you know what, we might have to talk about Michael Markovic and Trevor Hansen tonight was when the LA Kings had their entire team jump over the boards and the puck just sat there and all the Kings froze. Usually you jump up quick. Like they basically took a Polaroid picture of all of them on the ice and no call.
Well, and it hit the guy too. Like it clearly hits him. Pinto's pointing like, what are we doing? Too many men. Like, oh man, yeah, that's one you gotta have. And obviously the Tim Stützle ones are tough for Sens fans to watch because he's clearly just faster than most defenders can handle, and they end up having to get a stick on him and tripping him. But I do think, unfortunately, Tim's reputation as a diver earlier in his career is what is causing him to not always get those calls that he should be getting. Like he should have got all of those calls tonight. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that it wasn't worthy of that, but it is a thing. Like you are going to gain a reputation, and Timmy's got away from the diving, in my opinion, and probably most Sens fans' opinions. But it's tough.
Yeah, it's on back-to-back shifts too, Pilsy. It's
Yeah.
like the first one happened. It's like, okay, like there's gonna be a makeup call coming because that was as blatant as a trip as you could possibly see. I mean, he's cutting to the net and he gets tripped down. And then the second one, it's like, okay, like he's doing almost the exact same play through the slot. And I mean, when the stick gets parallel to the ice like that and it's touching the hands of the player with the puck, like you expect a call there every time, but I don't know what it is with Timmy and the referees. There had to have been a memo that went out at some point that was like, keep your eyes on this guy. He goes down easy, or he embellishes a little bit. So maybe don't give him the benefit of the doubt as a young player. But he's at the point now in his career where he is a tryhard out there. He is giving it everything he's got every shift, especially with Brady out and the way he's been playing lately, like kind of putting the team on his back a little bit. And like you got to give the guy a little bit of a call here and there especially when. If that was Claude Giroux, I guarantee they're calling, they're blowing that one down, making that call. But for whatever reason, the referees have it out for Tim Stützle. It's definitely because of that reputation, and it's something that he's been doing a really good job of playing through and not complaining too much to the referees. But the second one, he got a little bit fed up there. He was just like, "Come on, like you got to call that of all things." And then, of course, like minutes later, Dylan Cousins takes a penalty that, I mean, it was not a penalty in my opinion. It was not an interference call. Like you guys skated right into him. He's basically standing still. We talked about it a little bit in the pregame there, Ross, and Sanderson maybe tried to lead that defender player like around Cousins, and Cousins really had nowhere to go, but he runs right into him, and that's the call that they make right after those two really blatant ones, like the other direction. It's kind of brutal.
Yeah, it sucks that Sens didn't get rewarded for their effort. I felt like they were skating really well, especially in the first two periods. Maybe they ran out of gas there at the end. They didn't really have any opportunities. Just the one where Pinto makes a great play to bat down a clearing attempt. It ends up on Timmy's stick. Who else? And he gets a shot from in tight, but Kemper made the save and held on to that one. I thought Kemper's rebound control was pretty bad tonight. The Zetterlund goal, a rebound, and early on in the game too. Kemper was having trouble. A couple shots. One hit his bottom of his glove on a wrist shot from the slot. It bounces out. So Ottawa was trying to put pucks on net. They end up out shooting the Kings in this one, 28-22, and had a ton of extra possession. 68.8%. The Sens go on the faceoff dot, a common theme throughout the season. There's one issue that I have. I want to dive into it, and just to tee up the rest of the show, we do have a Sens Central boots on the ground report. Casey's going to join us from Los Angeles in just a few minutes. We'll get to our Sens Central standouts a little later on in this show. But for the third consecutive game on this road trip, and I will give Travis Green the benefit of the doubt of Ridley Gregg still being out, Brady Tkachuk still being out, Thomas Chabot out of the lineup. But Pilsy, remember my key for this road trip? Use everybody you have. All three of these games, the fourth line barely plays, and it's good in stretches where Stützle can get extra ice time, but it's catching up to them. Again, the fourth line plays 5, 6, 7 minutes in this game, and a little bit of Halliday's 8 minutes was on that second power play unit. So at 5-on-5, they're just not getting any movement into this game and giving the guys on the top units rest to be fresh for late game situations. And I think it's catching up to them already. They play every other day on this road trip. I don't know if Vegas on a Wednesday night in a building you haven't won in since their inaugural season in 2018 is the time to do it, but I loved what I saw from Hayden Hodgson tonight. He's fast. He runs through people, through another big hit at the far end. I just don't get why they're shortening the bench so early, especially in a 0-0 game, Pills. It just felt like there was no need for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a bit of it is score effects, Ross. You're looking at 3 1-goal games that are close all the way down to it. And I don't know, maybe we saw it differently, but I didn't think this team was gassed. I don't think they lost this game because they ran out of legs there. Sure, like you mentioned, they didn't really get a lot of opportunities at the end of the game, but they were pressing, in my opinion. Like, they were aggressive. They were hounding pucks. I didn't love that their go-to was just to dump it in every single time, regardless of whether a guy was ready for it or where guys were positionally. But I thought the effort was there, and it didn't seem like they were there too tired. But I do think that fourth line should get a little bit more time. Like, Halliday had a really nice chance, even strength, all on his own that was set up nicely. like you mentioned, I like Hodgson's game. And then Nick Cousins, we know once in a while when he's put in the right spots, he can create offensively. So, yeah, I think as the road trip goes on and we see games that aren't tight 1-goal games right down to the end of it, maybe we'll see the fourth line get a little bit more ice time here. But I don't know. I don't know if that is where this game fell apart. Not that you said that, but I don't think it's that big of an issue here.
Yeah, I think that something that they're missing, I think, in a lot of their games, especially with Ridley Gregg and Brady Tkachuk being out, is giving themselves a little bit of a spark with some of that more physical play or some of that, and somebody like Hodgson, like I kind of love this guy, right? Like he flies around out there. He has no regard for his own safety when he's throwing a hit. I mean, he's putting his full weight behind it, and he's hoping to inflict some damage. The boards, I've never heard them louder in the CTC when I'm there live when he's flying around, maybe since Chris Neal. And the way this guy plays, I love it. I think that, the Sens could use that kind of spark. So getting him more in the mix and guys like that, a little bit more ice time would probably, I agree with you, Ross, would be a good thing. But I agree with you too, Pillsy. I don't think they look tired either. So it's kind of a little bit of a give and take, maybe somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and look, the LA Kings are a great hockey team, and thankfully the Senators won't have to play them until potentially mid-June. These two teams are done their season series. And so funny that these are the two teams that combined for a 15-goal game on Thanksgiving last season. This season, a total of 3 goals scored. Or sorry, 4 goals, 2-1
there
tonight,
we go.
plus 1-0. Math guy here on this show. Hey, we don't make mistakes per Brady Tkachuk, but when we do, we correct it right away. So the Senators fall tonight 2-1, the final score. All goals coming in the third period. Warren Foegele opens it from Yoel Armia and Joel Edmondson. 5 minutes, 30 seconds into the third period. Nick Jensen beat in the net front battle on a 3-on-2 rush. And if you're Tyler Kleven, Martian, I get this play. Look, I probably want him to close out once he hits the hash marks, but there was that trailer option, and Kleven was very wary of that and kind of split in the middle and didn't really need to take away that option, but the pass goes perfectly across Warren Foegele. Then 5 minutes later, it's Zetterlund putting home a rebound off a Nicholas Matin-Palo shot, Nick Jensen drawing the secondary assist. And if I'm Nick Jensen, I'm going to the league and saying, hey, I think we should change that to Tim Stützle's assist because Timmy did all the work to set that up, regrouping in the neutral zone, bringing it across, beating Quentin Byfield to get into the entry, and then stopping up and finding Jensen to start the scoring play. Brant Clark's goal, the game winner, Ottawa boy, born and raised Sens fan. That had to feel good for him with just 2 seconds left in the power play. That we didn't even talk about that with all the missed calls and all the calls in this game. Look, it's a call that gets made way more often than not, but I still don't like it, where a guy is spamming the spin move like Kuzmenko was, and he just steps on Cousins' stick. Like Cousins wasn't even like poking in to do it, but when a guy falls in that position near the net in the offensive zone and the stick of the defending player ends up flying on the ice too, that's called more times than not. So we don't have to dive into the incompetence of Michael Markovic and Trevor Hansen. Yes, boys, we know you by name here on the show, but frustrating would be the way to describe this loss to the Los Angeles Kings. On the other side, we will get to our boots on the ground report, Sens Central standouts later on. You're listening to the postcast presented by Locked On Senators. As always, the postcast is brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. You want to talk about the Glebe Central Pub, Pillsy? Glebe Central Pub.
Maybe it's my turn.
Our home, 779 Bank Street. Go there for great food, awesome drinks, and the vibes are free at the GCP. They've got the Send shuttle going all the way to the CTC, an hour and 15 minutes before the game, and they bring you right back to the pub afterwards. It's also walking distance from Lansdowne, so just head there for a good time, head there for a long time. Make sure to get nachos for the table. Be a hero. They're also delicious. Wing night every Monday, and on Saturday, live music, no cover ever. The GCP is proudly partners with Locked On Senators, so support us by supporting our great friends at the Glebe Central Pub and get those shuttle tickets. They're only $18 round trip. Great deal to and from the CTC. You can get that at glebecentralpub.com.
And Ross, a perfect combo with the Glebe Central Pub shuttle. You got to get tickets to the game too. And where can you do that? Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get tickets for hockey, and nothing beats being in the arena, especially the Canadian Tire Center, arguably the best arena in the league. I think that's pretty fair to say. And Game Time will give you the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. We use Game Time whenever we're trying to get tickets, whether it's at the CTC in Winnipeg or anywhere else. And I love what you see is what you pay. No hidden fees at checkout. They got zone deals. They're a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can even find NHL tickets for under $25. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, guys, that's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go.
Welcome back to the postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Lalim's Martian. Senators fall 2-1 tonight to the Los Angeles Kings in a game that was frustrating to say the least. It was also a game where the Ottawa Senators tied it up with just 11 minutes remaining, and they cannot bring this one past regulation like they have done so many times this season. Shots on goal favor the Ottawa Senators 29-22. Kings get that lone power play goal. Sens go 0 for 3. Kings 1 for 3. Senators 69% in the dot. Hits favor the Senators 22-14, and they get more blocks than the LA Kings 14-8. They also control the play at 5-on-5, earning 56% of the expected goals. Now let's head to California where we catch up with Casey. Casey, I got to say, you have one of the most all-time descriptions in your Twitter. People can follow you, Sens and the City. She is a Ottawa Senators fan in Los Angeles with long commutes to Canada. How are you doing tonight? How'd you enjoy that one?
It was a fun one. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm so happy to be here. Lalim, great to see you. We haven't met, but we've tweeted a lot. It was a really fun game. I see a lot of chatter online that it was a little boring. I thought the first two periods were really electric, really fun. Tim Stützle was amazing. He was the player of the game for me. He just gave us like such an electric shock every time he touched it. I came here with 11 friends, a lot of them non-hockey people, and they were all going, wait, who's that guy? So you've got someone special when that happens. So I had a good time, not the outcome we wanted. I feel like happens to us a lot, these kind of nasty losses here in LA. But it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's one way to get non-hockey fans interested in hockey. Just show them the German number 18. Follow that guy.
Show them the beautiful German and good things happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how many other Sens fans were in the arena, Casey? Did you get to see a bunch of friendly faces, good jerseys out there?
Yeah, a lot of good jerseys, a lot of red jerseys, a lot of the new alternates, which is my first time seeing them in person, and I love them. So that was pretty sweet. Pretty much the usual amount of Sens fans in the crowd, a good sprinkling, good congregation down by the ice at warm-up. I missed Dr. Bob. I was hoping to catch him this year. I didn't see him. He might have been here. I hyped him up to all my friends, but no, so a lot of red jerseys and a lot of Kachuk jerseys, man. I mean, me too. But 50% of jerseys were Kachuk jerseys, and there's a good sprinkling. It's safe to say that anyone who's from Ottawa comes to these games.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's you as well. Do you go to the Sens games there every season?
Every year, the one game that I'm fortunate enough to catch in LA, I definitely do my best to come here with all my friends. This year was extra special. We had 11 of us, like I said. My husband actually is wearing a Sens jersey for the first time. That was our wedding anniversary present from me to him. So that was pretty special. But yeah, I was here with a couple buddies. Actually, one of my buddies who works on the Wingmen podcast was here with us. Canada Dave, shout out to him. We love what they're doing over there, and I'm so happy they picked Brady. So, but yeah, no, it was a pretty good turnout. Just wish we had got one more goal or two.
Yeah. Oh man! And what was the atmosphere in the rink there? Were LA fans loud? Because it was dressed like a seat night in Anaheim the other day.
It was kids' night, so everyone had to
Oh
be
boy.
on better behavior, which was a bit of a bummer for me. But and I was seeing you guys, so we had to take it easy. But it was it's definitely a tamer game for LA. Less seats full, also a weird 6 p.m. start. It's really hard to get anywhere in rush hour in LA. So I think it was for the kids, but I hope the kids enjoyed it.
Yeah, you kind of answered my next question. Was I
Yeah.
noticed there's one section in particular in the 100 level that was almost looked like completely empty from the TV. So I was wondering
Yeah,
if that's kind of like the standard crowd there, or is it maybe
no,
Sens
LA's a really good crowd for hockey. You want to think, oh, they have palm trees, they should know what they're talking about, but they do. They're really good fans, and a respectable bunch. That's about all I'll say. The only thing that I took offense to was the hit of the game on the jumbotron was Halliday getting his teeth knocked out, and they played it like 6 times in slow motion, and everyone cheered on that, and I thought that was a little distasteful. But the rest was great. It's a good sports town.
Yeah, that's a big welcome to the NHL moment from Stephen Halliday tonight,
Yeah.
eh?
We were in the 200 section, but right where that happened, and man, his jaw went one way and his face went the other way. That was pretty bad. Glad he's okay.
Do you have any words for Michael Markovic and Trevor Hansen tonight?
No.
those
I
are
wish
Just
I
a
did.
silent treatment.
our two officials? Yeah, those guys. We can give them.
No,
the
yeah, no, I heard you name drop earlier. No, I don't talk about the refs on this show, so
Yeah,
Bless
she
you.
knows.
Casey, this has been awesome. We really appreciate you jumping on. And
Yeah,
I
of
got to
course.
ask you, are you watching all 82 games from out in California?
I certainly am. I'm actually really excited, though. I have not seen a game in our home barn in
Oh.
over 8 years because I've tried to take my dad, huge Sens fan. I've been trying to take him year after year, and it was COVID, and then it was an ice storm. Dad, happy birthday. We're going this year. We have 6
Yes.
seats, 100 level center ice. We're going to have a great time. December 23rd against the Sabres. We're going to break that bad streak. And so I cannot wait to hear our goal horn. I'm tired of being the only one screaming my ass off.
Well, I promise you this, Casey. You reach out around that date, we'll get you back on because I want to see just the shine in your eyes walking out of the CTC after a win.
I can't when I see the building in the distance, guys, the chills will be real. I
Just
cannot
one tear?
wait. It's been, oh yeah, maybe more than one, to be honest, but it's a beautiful place. It's the loudest arena, and I can't wait to be back December 23rd.
We hope you get a Linden Slewage game too, eh? Wouldn't that be the
Oh my
cherry on
God,
top?
guys, that's too much.
And let us know when you're there, definitely, and we'll see if we can link up for a quick over a beverage.
Trip to the full script box?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you never know,
Wow.
right? Yeah,
I'm sure Papa would love that one.
we'll make sure you're well taken care of when you come back for sure.
I would love that. It'd be great to meet you guys in person. I'm a big fan. I will listen to every postcast, and yeah, anytime you need boots on the ground in LA, I got you. Hopefully it's a better outcome next
Done
year
deal.
or in mid-June. You never know.
Well, Casey, hey, thanks for representing the Sens so well out there and adding to the fan base with your husband. Tell him he looks fantastic. We all think he's the best dressed man in that building tonight. So
I will. Thank you guys.
Really appreciate
You're fighting
that.
a good fight.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sens and the city. You can follow her on Twitter there. Casey, thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
All right, there she goes. Casey, boots on the ground in
Unreal
Southern
boots on the ground report from Casey
California. I got one qualm with it.
Oh,
there. The
She
husband
said
didn't-
she held off the beverages to be at her best here. I think she could have had one more. She was fantastic, and the boots on the ground reports just fire me up. But hey, don't say no when they ask you for a double just on our account. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. We don't want to condone people being like, oh, I have to be on my best behavior for the boots on the ground postcast report. However, we
There's
do have
no
a couple rules.
breathalyzer to get
We'll
in.
always allow it. Yeah.
I always tell people, Ross, try to find a spot with good audio and no swearing. Other than that, we got no rules. But yeah, that was an awesome boots on the ground report from Casey. And man, it's great to get the ladies on the boots on the ground report. It's been awesome getting that in the mix here too. So if you're at a game, let us know and you could find yourself boots on the ground report.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes the loss feel a little bit nicer when you know that there's Sens fans representing on the road. All right, Sens Central standouts on the other side. You're listening to the postcast presented by Locked On Senators.
All right, this is my ad read here. No mistake about it. Guys, this episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride that hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And you can live bet all sorts of things. Like I had a live bet that this game would go to overtime and Tim Stützle would be the one to score. Those are some of the things you can do on FanDuel. Unfortunately, that one didn't pan out, but you can try it with the best sports book around. And new customers, FanDuel is giving you $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Welcome back to the postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Levitan Martian covering a 2-1 loss to the Los Angeles Kings. Finally, the California part of the road trip is over, and finally, the season series is over between these two hard-nosed defensive teams. I've had enough of the LA Kings.
Same.
It's an effective style of hockey, but it is not one that is consumed at the edge of your seat at all times. And when they went up 2-1, they were so happy to ice the puck. It almost made me even more mad. They're like, yeah, it's all good. I know Byfield almost hit the empty net from his own zone, but it was a couple icings in a row before and after that. Ottawa had a bunch of missed shots tonight. I really think that's an area of the game the Sens need to clean up. 16 missed shots tonight. LA had 11. Jake Sanderson, 6 shot attempts, and none of them hit the net. 4 missed, 2 blocked in this game. Still had some great plays. He caught up on a potential breakaway in the third period where his skating, like Trevor Moore, the guy on LA who had the rush, is a fast player. And Jake Sanderson made it look like he was skating in quicksand. Speaking of which, the ice quality in this game was awful. And I'm not saying that the game would have been different if the ice was better, but there were a couple plays. Both of them actually that I'm going to point out were Andre Batherson. One was an offensive opportunity where Stützle made an incredible play to get it to him in a scoring area, and it just bounced over his stick. Nothing he could do about it. And then on the goal that opened the scoring, Pilsy, how close was Batherson to basically a breakaway from center ice the other way?
Yeah, and that's the game of hockey right there, because if Batherson gets that puck, it's a 2-on-1 for Batherson and Tim Stützle going back that way. But it just ricochets and bounces weird over his stick, and the stretch pass is completed, and then it's a 2-on-1 for the Kings, and they open the scoring like you said. It's one of those where Batherson was kind of looking at his stick like, you know, when a baseball player doesn't quite catch it and they're looking at their glove like, hey, what the heck's going on here? He was looking down at his stick like, what? Like that? I thought for sure that I had that one. So that's a tough bounce, as DJ Smith would say.
And DJ Smith was on the bench for LA. I'm sure he's pretty happy about that one. Marshy, been a while. Let's get you leading off our Sens Central standouts tonight.
Sure, yeah, and I'm going to go to the only guy who scored a goal for the Ottawa Senators tonight. I'm going to go right over to Fabian Zetterlund.
Wow,
it seems, yeah, I know. I've
Are you back in on Zetterlund, or we're still kind of on the
starting to be? I'm starting to be for sure, and it
seems
seems like he's back in on getting on that goal scoring front, like 2 games in a row. It's nice to see him get back in the groove here. I think maybe something happened when he scored against the San Jose Sharks, his former team, and he might have unlocked himself a little bit. It's something that we need from him, and it's great that he's finally doing it. It took him long enough. I'm not quite all the way in back yet with our boy Fabian Zetterlund, but the way he played tonight and the way he's been playing, the analytics, I'm not an analytics guy either, but if you talk to the people who do the analytics for the Senators, they will tell you that it will come for him just the way he's playing. He's been consistently dogging pucks. He's working hard out there, and then now it's finally starting to come for him. And 2 great, kind of plays there. Goal scorers goals. The one the other night against San Jose was an absolute snipe rip, and then tonight he was just in the right spot, standing in front of the net, ready to bury that thing. So that's what we like to see from Fabian. We want a little bit more of that, pal. And then we'll get back in on you officially. But hard again, good 15:38 from Fabian Zetterlund. Took a face off, he won that face off that Timmy got, or who got kicked out of that draw? I can't remember. But anyways, I noticed he won that face off, so that's nice to see. And that's another category the Sens are dominant in lately.
Dominant.
That face off dot, man. They're killing it in the dot. But I'm gonna go with Zetterlund here, just because he's doing what we expected him to do all this time, and hopefully he keeps it going. That's something that we need from Fabian. So good for him.
He hasn't been struggling offensively though, right, Ross?
Yeah, don't tell Timmy that.
And at an awesome time too, right? Like for him to tie the game at the time, like I felt like we were never going to score against LA. Like these two, like and for him to break the mold there, I was like, all of a sudden I'm awake again. I was kind of getting a little bit sleepy in that game. These 1-0 LA Kings games, I really was hoping that they weren't going to lose to them again. Sure enough, he did his job there. So.
Yeah, he did. And speaking of face-offs, Claude Giroux tonight went 67%, and his season average is actually going to drop because he was over 70% coming into tonight's game. Just outrageous. It's also a little outrageous, and I'm glad you went with Zetterlund. He scores the goal. Both goals in these last two games have been game-tying goals. So in big moments when you're down one, you want to get back even. But our guy Gavin Wood was boots on the ground tonight. He did the whole Cali trip. He was our boots on the ground report after the Anaheim game. Marshy, did you see the sign that he had at warm-up in the Senator zone?
I missed it. What did it say? Was it a give it to the German? Yeah, okay. There I love that. That's what we love, baby. That's the it catches fire when you get a good little saying like that. So I love it.
Yeah.
He's dead right. I mean, look at the way the German was playing tonight. I'm sure I'm leading into somebody else's Sens Central standout here, but when you give the puck to the German, good things happen, especially when he's flying around like he was tonight. So I love that from our boy.
Yeah, Pillsy, go ahead. You can take it from here.
All right. Well, I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit here and go with Tim Stützle. He was easily the best player on the ice on either team. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no one that was even close to Tim Stützle, in my opinion. He had so many chances. Anytime he had the puck on the stick this game, I felt like he could create something. And oftentimes he did, even with the guy draped all over him and tripping him, and still gets a shot off. Like that one opportunity, I forget which one it was, but he gets the shot off after being tripped, and Kemper has to kind of squeeze it and bobble it in between his arm and his midsection, and that almost goes in there. Like he's so close. He's able to set guys up. We talked about how this team struggled to enter the zone on the power play, but maybe still on the power play, Timmy didn't have his best, but 5-on-5, he was entering the zone, slowing things down, even wheeling all the way around to create opportunities. Like he just had such an incredible game. And then you guys know I'm going to be talking about the faceoffs here. Tim Stützle, 76.9% in the dot. Gone are the days where the coach felt he had to put Brady Tkachuk and or Claude Giroux on Timmy's wing because you had to have a guy there to take those big draws. Now Timmy is the guy, other than Claude Giroux, that is sent out there on those crucial draws. So you love to see it. His development, if you want to call that, this season has just been absolutely amazing. There is no weak parts to Tim Stützle's game anymore. The physicality is there. The defense is better. The faceoffs are there. This is a complete number one centerman. And I don't think there's been a single game all year where there hasn't been one of the three of us, or when it's just two of us, taking Tim Stützle as a Sens Central standout.
No, he's been the best player this season for the Ottawa Senators, bar none. He's been just so like edge of your seat every time he touches the puck. It's just amazing to watch. And to think that he doesn't turn 24 until January, he is not even, I would say he's entering the start of his prime. It's going to be scary days ahead for every opposition to game plan around him because he can beat you off the rush. He's also incredibly strong down low, like way more than he gets credit for. Feels like he comes out of loose puck situations with it more times than not. And the patience that he shows and the willingness, sometimes too much, but he's really kind of found that equilibrium this season of finding teammates, but also gripping it and shooting it himself. And I mean, that shows with his offensive production this season, 11 goals, 10 assists. He's never even been close to as many goals as assists. His 39 goal season, it was his first year cracking 50 assists as well. But to see him at that 50-50 mark split between goals and an assist, I don't think it'll be that way when the season ends, but it is cool to see that he is leading this team and taking it upon himself to add that extra goal output that Brady would usually bring. I'm between two on mine. I want partly to give it to Levi Merrilainen because in the first period, especially at those two huge saves on Kevin Fiala, point blank from the slot, then sliding over and making the save. Thought he was really calm. No chance on the game-winning goal. Deflects off a Zub and goes past him. Other one, a tap in backdoor on a 3-on-2 rush. I thought Levi Merrilainen was great in this game. But I'm going to go with a guy who battled through. We know that Nick Matanpalo's not at 100% right now, but he gave them everything he had tonight. And our good friend Everyday Sens on Twitter, he went through all of the behind-the-scenes stats, the analytics, as the nerds will call them, in this game. And he played 2.5 minutes on the PK, had that primary assist, 5 shot attempts, 2 block shots. The shots on goal when he was on the ice were 8-3 in favor of Ottawa, and the expected goals were 68.5 when he was on the ice. So I thought that was a really clean performance. And in a defensive-oriented game, that's where he's going to thrive. So to see him then add a little bit of an offensive element to his game, I just thought Matanpalo had a nice night. So I'm going to give him some love here because we know that he missed last game with injury after leaving the Anaheim game. So for him to come back, and who knows, maybe he wasn't thinking he'd be ready and then saw Shabby go down and say, hey, this could be an opportunity for me to battle through it if it's an injury that couldn't necessarily re-aggravate like we saw with Shabbat. But that's why I'm going with old Nicky Matanpalo tonight as my standout.
All right, I like it. A little bit of a deeper look there. And yeah, definitely we weren't sure what his status was. So he's probably more than likely not playing at 100%. And then he's on that pair with Nick Jensen. So you got 2 righties there. That makes it a little bit more difficult as well. So I like that, Ross.
Second highest
love.
Second highest expected goals percentage of 5-on-5 tonight on the team behind our guy Hayden Hodgson, who only played 5 minutes. So, hey, Hodgson
used him as a standout, Ross.
+1 in those 5 minutes, buddy. Hayden
I
Hodgson.
know he was the other guy standing in front of the net with Zetterlund when that goal went in. So he goes to the right spots as well. I mean, we love his game. Yeah,
I know. I really like it.
It's kind of funny how we kind of gravitate towards those guys. I think maybe we're showing our ages a little bit. With the loving the physical fourth line grinder style play, but
man, we grew up on Chris Neal, Brian McGrath, and Zenon Konopka, Matt Karkner. Like the Sens always had mutants. I'm probably missing a bunch for the older crowd. Denny Vial out there chucking knucks. I don't know if Dennis Bonvie ever made
Rob
the NHL.
Ray.
He's a mutant in Belleville. Yeah, Rob Ray or Binghamton. But yeah, Rob Ray was a big dog. I mean, Zdeno Chara did a lot more than fight, but you got a few of those in a Senators jersey that you'll never see again. And in his heyday as a pure gladiator out there at 6'9". But tonight wasn't one of those games. There was a little bit of chippiness just at the very end of the game. I think that was more the Senators just being frustrated at how they felt like they played a solid 200-foot game and battled the Kings defensively, tied it up after giving up the first goal, and then just couldn't buy a power play. But my final thought is, would it have even mattered? Billsy, the Sens power play is a complete mess right now.
Yeah, so it's not great. And I mean, you can't score power play goals if you can't even enter the zone. Now, when you're winning power play faceoffs, that helps. Hopefully you don't have to try to enter the zone that much, but it just, as soon as that puck was cleared, they were just stonewalled at the blue line. And yeah, something's got to happen with the power play here. I like that Halliday brings some fresh blood into that second unit. And I think he's the right kind of guy to insert to try to mix things up. The disher, we know he can move that puck around and find guys, but this was a game where I wasn't expecting the power play to shine. So we'll see. I'm not sure what Vegas's penalty kill is like, but I'd like to see probably up against St. Louis. I assume their penalty kill is not great. I know the goaltending hasn't been great. I'd like to see one game where the power play just fully dominates coming up here.
We've talked about how, November's kind of haunted the Sens in the past. And this is a stat that just came through from our boy, Jack Richardson, who is still digging into those deeper numbers for us. Right. I think Ross was trying to tee you up for this, Pilsy. I don't think you saw it yet, because you're working on the postcast here. You didn't see it, but the Sens are 30 since November 1st. they have the 31st ranked power play in the league. So
Yikes.
that's the one area that they can definitely look to try to improve here. They're still, collecting points and things like that. Obviously not tonight, but that's something they can improve on and just continue to build as they keep going here. And boys, how excited are you to get Brady Tkachuk back? Like, that's coming in the next week or so, hopefully.
Yeah, well, no, it looks like Friday in St. Louis, hometown game.
That would make sense, right? Like that's the one. Like, everyone was kind of targeting Vegas, but I feel like you give him a couple extra days, and everyone who's watching the skates too is saying that he looks really good out there too. They were talking about it on the Amazon Prime broadcast, which, by the way, I always find incredible. Like those broadcasts, they do a great job there. But I mean, he's almost ready. He's almost ready, boys, and it couldn't come at a better time because I mean, the team's been holding the fort down quite well without him. They're still a solid group without him in the lineup, but once they get him back in there, they're just gonna have that little bit of extra swagger and jam that I think they're missing still right now, especially in games like this.
Well, yeah, and like, no disrespect to David Perron, like, obviously he's a veteran presence, but like, how different is that line if you keep Stützle, Batherson together? You got Brady Tkachuk on there, right? It's a whole different look. And the line of Stützle, Perron, Batherson tonight played 7 minutes and 19 seconds at 5-on-5. Shot attempts are 10-8 in favor of Ottawa. Final thought, because this just came across my desk. LA Kings fan before the game says the LA Kings should benefit from having Markovic and Hansen reffing the game tonight. They call more penalties than average and do not call phantom penalties to even out the PIMs. The home team gets 55% of a power play advantage when those two are reffing the game. So just something to think about.
Well, what's the reverse of a phantom call when there's actually a penalty and they don't call it because they're good for that?
Yeah, that's called being bad at your job, I think would be how I would describe it ever so eloquently. Pillsy, any final thoughts on today's show? We're going to dive deeper into this tomorrow. We're also going to get into the out-of-town scoreboard. How do the Sens look now, quarter of the way through the season, plus a prospect roundup, a very successful weekend for the NCAA portion of the Senators prospect pool. And a guy we haven't talked about much has actually been really solid for a team that's now ranked in the top 10 in the country. That'll be a little tease for tomorrow. But Pillsy, final thoughts after tonight's game.
Final thoughts for me is this is an event cast, really, I would say. I think this is a fine cast. I like
frustrated cast.
Yeah, but I like the effort that the Sens put here. Like, it was a good game. They had the chances. I really thought this was going to overtime. And I said it in today's episode, Ross, the Kings are a nice measuring stick team. Like, you want to be able to hang with them. They're going to lull you to sleep with that defensive, almost trap style game. And if they can find ways to get the extra save and sneak one past you, then they're going to park the bus and get the 1-goal win like they've done both times this season. So I'm not upset about this one. And you look at no Brady Tkachuk, no Thomas Chabot, no Ridley Gregg. You're playing your backup goalie. Like, this was an okay result. Obviously, you'd like to get that point, find a way to do it. But Levi Merrillainen was awesome too. I thought he looked confident, cool, calm, collected like he always does. This game was not on him. So I think, although you don't get a point, you lose here, I still think it's a game you can build on going into a tough barn like Vegas.
Well said, Pillsy. Let's get to the chat and Sens fans in van. The boys played smart and with heart. They battled refs and key injuries. One of us is despondent, the other disappointed, but we're both proud of the boys. So am I. This is the third game in California. You leave with a 2-1-0 record, and you lose to the best of the three teams despite hanging with them throughout the entirety of the game. Frustrating, though, to not leave with any points. I think we got a little used to the loser points, eh, Marshy?
Yeah. Those loser points, they're tasty. They work. They do the job, right? It's not fully satisfying, but it's like a nice little appetizer, and it keeps you right in the hunt. So every point matters. Look how tight that Eastern Conference is. And so, it's tough not getting one here. Now you're going into Vegas, and you don't want to drop both those points either. So they got a tough test here, and we'll see how it goes. It's going to be exciting.
Sens are 1-5-2 lifetime on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I was there for one of those. It was the game before DJ Smith got fired, and that wasn't a pretty one either.
Oh, man.
No, it was not a pretty game. They aren't usually. The Sens are averaging 4.5 goals against per game when they play in Vegas. But hey, Vegas is a little banged up too. Mark Stone not in the lineup. We'll have that game day preview for you though on Wednesday. Tomorrow we're also going to touch on the Belleville Senators getting ready to play 2 games against the Manitoba Moose, and I will be in the booth for both of those games, calling them with David Foote. Got to chat with some of the boys at practice today, Oscar Pedersen, Matt Sogard, and my guy Jibs Jabril Toure, who is an absolute character. And meeting that guy on skates, and I wasn't on skates, he's a big man. And he wants my coat, but I told him I don't think it's going to fit him. So we'll get into to Belleville's couple games coming up here on tomorrow's show as well. Shout out to all the citizens here at 1 a.m. Eastern for riding with us. Not venting, not vibing, just saying that the refs suck and that the Ottawa Senators played a solid game, losing 2-1 to the LA Kings. We'll chat more tomorrow on Locked On Senators. Shout out to the Glebe Central Pub, the GCP, where the vibes are free. Let's get some Go Sens Go in the chat on the way out here. You can always subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, including here on YouTube, where we go live after every single Senators game. For Laleem's Martian and Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. You can find all our social media handles in the description below. This has been the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.